Welcome to Between the Shelves, the premier Sayville Library podcast. I am your host, Alex, and we have a very special episode for you here today for Earth Day. It's going to be broken up into two parts. So the first half of the episode, I'm going to be speaking with the Assistant Director of Sayville Library, Tim.
Hello.
Hi, Tim. Thanks for coming in today. We're going to be having a little talk about the Sustainable Libraries initiative that we're doing here at Sayville Library. And then in the second half of the program, we're going to be hearing some future podcasters. So the Sunrise Drive Elementary School, Miss Laporte's class of fifth graders had a little contest for Earth Day where some of the students got to compete on making their own podcasts on topics relating to Earth Day. And three winners of the contest sent me their recordings, and I'm going to be playing them for you at the end of the episode. So definitely stay tuned for that. I listened to them before we started recording, and the production value is shockingly good. It kind of puts us to shame a little bit.
Start taking notes.
I'm starting to feel like the next generation coming up from behind, and it doesn't feel good.
Now, did they record it themselves, or Miss Laporte helped them?
I think she may have helped a little bit, but I don't know. They have like sound effects and all this stuff going on, so I don't know.
Good on them.
Yeah, it's great. It's like Radiolab or something. So definitely check that out. I'll put the timestamps in the show notes so you can skip right ahead if you really can't wait.
You just want to hear your kid.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. Okay, but let's get back to my special guest, Tim, our assistant director. So as far as I understand it, the Sustainable Libraries Initiative is a now nationwide program, but it started here in Suffolk County.
Right.
Can you speak about that a little bit?
Yeah. So, as you said, it started here in Suffolk County with Suffolk County Public Libraries. Quickly expanded to also including other types of libraries, so special libraries, school libraries, public school libraries, academics. So universities and that type of thing. And it grew from Suffolk to New York, and then quickly went from New York to nationwide. So there's libraries all over that are participating. County systems, which as big as I think San Diego was one of the county systems.
I was looking through the list of the participating libraries on their website, and they even had one listed in Australia.
Yeah, so that's impressive.
Yeah.
And that's all being facilitated by basically 2 to 3 people here at the Suffolk Cooperative Library System. So, props to them because it's a big job to do, and more libraries are signing up to do this. And we signed up maybe a year and a half ago. Each library, it takes a different amount of time for them. Some they're able to really go through this whole process for the certification and do it quickly. For us, it's taking a little longer, but we're going to get there. This year, we're going to finish it. And it's a multi-step process of it's super comprehensive. So you're looking at a lot of different things as far as like, I wrote down some of the things you're looking at: your outdoor spaces, your indoor spaces, your energy use, your water use, your collective impact on the public, the social impact on the public, resilience planning, your financial planning. So as far as what they consider what a sustainable library is, it's 3 branches, I guess you'd say, of different. So you're looking at your financials, you're looking at your social impact, and you're looking at your impact on the environment. And you're kind of just what can you do more sustainably in those 3 avenues. And for us, when we were looking at things like making changes to how we maintain our building, so doing more recycling, doing collections for the public for recycling, we added a line to our budget just for sustainability of like what can we the things like marker recycling. That's not free. We do pay for it through our budget, but we feel that it's really important to be a place where the public can come and drop those things off and do other recycling. So something like Jonathan Pryor, he's our librarian for outreach. He is great at finding new people to bring in to do different outreach programs, but also stuff that has to do with sustainability. So like we have a collection bin in our lobby just for balloons, which, Mylar balloons and those types of things, a lot of the time they can end up in the environment, but we're saying like, hey, if you're done with your party for your kid, you can bring your stuff, your balloons in, and we will take care of facilitating the recycling for that. So that stuff's really important to us. We also, something like as small as adjusting the watering times for our lawn watering, something you wouldn't really think of. It's just something that's automatically set, but you can adjust it so that you're not wasting water, which we're so close to the bays here. That's really important to us. Kind of in regards to that, we have a pollinator garden. So that's something that we established about 2 years ago now it's a native plant and pollinator garden. And we really feel like it's important to set an example to the community to be like, hey, look at what we're doing here. This is something that you can do too. So the pollinator garden, that's something that we feel like it's less water you have to use for that. And we've had programs specifically about pollinator gardens. Again, programming, that's something that we're introducing of like just different examples of sustainability that you can do in the community.
Yeah. I was just thinking, as you were talking, like, the library's in such a unique position in the community where, like the Mylar balloons, like you were talking about, like where would any individual know to donate that?
Mm-hmm.
It would just
that you even could.
Or that you even could. If you're coming to the library and you see the bin there, now in the back of your mind, maybe not every single person is saving all their Mylar balloons, for the next library trip, but it's getting the idea out there, and that idea can germinate and grow. The same thing with the native plant garden out front. People might be driving by and say like, how come the front of the library looks different than all these other manicured, landscapes and everything? And hopefully they'll read up on it and find out why.
Yeah.
And then what the impact of introducing all these foreign plants into our environment is doing to the environment.
Right. So, yeah, the environment's definitely a big part of what we're looking at. We also want to make sure that we're thinking about our energy use in the building. So we actually did an energy audit for the building, which was really interesting, having like an outside group come in and get an idea of where we can save more money, which is, again, that's another part of this whole thing of just like, how are you handling the money that we're being entrusted with from the public for the building? So we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to operate efficiently, not cheaply, but just like efficiently, and doing everything we can to maintain proper energy use for the building. And all of that is important in getting to this certification process.
Is one of the factors in the certification process like our purchasing as well, like where we're getting things from, making sure we're getting purchasing from companies that are using these similar sustainable practices?
Absolutely. So
not just like recycled paper, but like the companies themselves.
Yes, we part of what, because totally truthful, we do order a lot from Amazon, which has its benefits and its drawbacks, but we also, for other things that we like to try to order local first. So if there's a company within Sayville, we want to try to use them. If there's a company within the surrounding towns, we want to try and use them first, especially on like bigger projects, not just ordering, but our paper is from WB Mason, a local company, a big company, but they're also local. We're not ordering our paper through Amazon for that. Any other projects, any other purchasing, we are trying to look at local first. And yeah, the paper specifically, we're ordering 30%. I think it's 30% recycled, which you can do more, but it's also way more expensive. So it's this balance that we have to have with our financials and thinking about the environment, and where's the balance that we can find there.
Yeah. So the three pillars of the this sustainability initiative.
Yep.
the environment, that one seems, pretty
straightforward.
Pretty straightforward. I think everybody can wrap their head around that. The other two pillars were social equity and
financial sustainability.
Right. So the financial part of it, I'm sure, anyone who's listening right now, their taxes are going to the library. So, I mean, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but do you want to explain that one a little bit further?
Yeah, it's actually one of the smaller pieces of this, but it's still an important piece of making sure that your staff is paid equitably. So we are making sure that, we're not paying the bare minimum for our staff because they deserve to be paid. And especially here on Long Island, it's expensive to live here. They deserve to be paid an equitable amount. So that's one part. And then the other parts are financial literacy for staff. So we do have companies coming in for 403B planning. So just basically retirement planning, making sure that our staff is aware of what options they have with New York State retirement. All of that stuff is important that we want to make sure they're educated on, because a lot of people that work for public libraries or work for government entities, they just think, oh, I have New York State retirement, I'm good. But that's never enough. So we want to make sure that they're aware of their options too. Very important. And then financial literacy for the public, that kind of falls under Jonathan, of making sure that we have programs that we offer that are a benefit to them in their financial planning. So all of that stuff. And then on top of that, our purchasing falls under that. And we get audited every year. We have great auditors, and they really keep us on top of how we spend our money and the categories that it falls under, and just making sure that we are financially sound for the money that we're entrusted with.
Yeah, it goes again. I think the word stewardship is comes back again and again. We have to make sure that we are using the money to stretch it as furthest as it can go in a nicest in a sustainable way.
Right.
And then the last pillar is social equity. So that one, again, might not be as clear as protecting the environment. So do you want to help kind of explain what that comes out at?
I think you can look at it in a few different ways. So making sure that we have a diverse staff that reflects the community, that reflects Long Island, that's important. A diverse collection available. So making sure that we have books that are not just for one reader, but for many readers. So that is part of that is just doing audits of our own collection, making sure that it is something that we're keeping on top of, and making sure that we're keeping the collection open and not a narrow collection.
Is there a digital divide aspect of this too? I thought I had read somewhere where part of the social equity aspect would be, making sure that people are not being left behind in like the digital realm as well.
Right. Yeah. So one of those, that would probably be something like making sure that we have tech help available, classes available for the public that really explainers on different like basic tech skills and more advanced tech skills. We have our computers that are available for the public. I would even say our Library of Things collection is a good example of that too, of just we have set aside money in our budget to have a collection of things that maybe someone can't purchase. So something like, I'm trying to think of some of the things that we have in our Library of Things collection.
Well, the hotspots come to mind.
Hotspots are huge. That's actually a great example, just because that is something you could check out. It's a mobile hotspot, and some people don't have internet connections at their house. That's why they come here to use our computers. But if they have this device, they can check it out for 2 weeks, and they can use it in whatever fashion they need to, and then return it and check it out again next month if they need to. So, and that is something that is a reality. Not everyone can afford internet access, so we have to be here in the community for that.
Yeah. All right. So I think our listeners have a better picture of what what we're talking about when we mention sustainability, some of the goals that we need to reach, because it's a process, as you said.
Right.
I think they said on their website it takes an average of 2 years or more.
Yeah.
I think. How many? Do you know offhand how many libraries in Suffolk County are in the process? It's quite a bit, I'm sure, at this point.
There's 52, 53 libraries in Suffolk County, and probably, I want to say at least 15 to 20 of them have been certified. And then I'm sure there's at least a dozen more that are in the process.
Yeah.
So we, as I said, we've been doing it for a little while now. I'm determined to finish this year, but it is a process that involves policy changes and, bigger things than just adjusting water times. Like, it is a process that it's a lot to look through, and it involves in creating a committee just, in-house. And actually, I don't know if it's Miss Laporte, but one of the libraries in a Sayville school district did get certified.
It is her,
yeah. So, which is awesome, because that's something you really don't see a lot of school media specialists being able to finish the process or actually do it. So it's encouraging for other school librarians to see that, and hopefully more can get it done.
Yeah, and hopefully, I don't know if there is an equivalent for schools themselves, not just the school libraries, but schools. I mean, we're talking a factor of 10 times the size of a public library in terms of, not only energy consumption and materials they're going through, but I mean, talk about social equity. I mean, that's great where it starts.
It would be great to see. Because it's something that is very involved, but in the end, you see you're building your library in a new way of things have always been done this way because they've been done this way. But then when you're looking at it through a different lens, you can say, well, there's so many different places where you can make these tweaks and adjustments that can make a difference. If enough people do it, you're making a difference. And that's really what a big part of what Earth Day is about too, of just looking at things in a different way and saying well, I'm just one person making this change of whatever it is. But if enough people do it, that's when you really make a difference.
I don't think I have anything more to add to that. That's a great way to end this segment. Thanks again, Tim, for sitting down with me for a little bit and explaining how this whole process works. And maybe we can have a celebratory follow-up episode when we finally get that certification.
I would love it.
All right, great. So listeners, stay tuned, because you have some future podcasters coming up to give their 2 cents on Earth Day.
Hi, our names are Trevor
and Julianna, and we're here to tell you about ocean water pollution.
Ocean pollution has to stop. Scientists believe that by 2030 there will be more plastic than fish in the ocean. Picture this: you're out on the beach and it's a beautiful day. You run into the water to have some fun. Are you picturing this, Julianna?
Yep.
But do you know what's really in those waters besides fish?
What, more fish?
No, it's...
Oh, I know.
What?
Sharks?
No. According to Kittle, 3 main substances that pollute the water are nitrates from fertilizers, sewage, and detergents. When toxic chemicals and metals enter the water, the smallest animals like plankton eat them. When larger animals eat the smaller ones, they are eating toxins as well, which can cause mutations, diseases, and reproduction difficulties. For example, when plankton that have eaten toxins are eaten by crabs, the crabs consume the toxins, and...
Are you finished yet?
No. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah. So then humans eat crabs, and the humans consume the toxins as well.
Wait, so what you're trying to say is that pollution can be transferred through multiple living organisms and it can harm us too?
Well, yes, but I'm also trying to say that when plankton...
Okay, I get it. You don't have to say that all again. But did you also know that according to Sunrise Drive's virtual reference collection, over 100,000 sea animals are hurt by plastic bags?
Wow!
And according to Kittle, Over 376 million plastic bags end up in the ocean.
We should really make sure we don't litter plastic bags.
Have you ever seen a store where they give you plastic bags to put your groceries in? Probably every store. Well, don't litter those plastic bags, because many animals are hurt by those plastic bags. Sometimes when we pollute, it ends up on the beach. And at some point, a big wave is gonna come and bring it out to sea. Then it harms all the things under the sea, like the coral reefs and fish. This is why we can't pollute in the first place.
There are many ways to save our oceans, such as recycling plastic bags or helping clean up oil spills, because after all, it takes just one thing to help our environment.
This is Julianna and
Trevor, and we leave you with just one task. Don't pollute and save our ocean.
Casey, Harley, Zachary, and Chase. We are here to tell you to recycle plastic bottles. If you don't recycle plastic bottles, then it is bad for the environment and can harm animals like dolphins. Dolphins can go extinct if more people litter. Please recycle. You should listen to this podcast to learn more about recycling.
Did you know over 600,000 hermit crabs are killed a year by plastic bottles? Isn't that so sad? The reason why this is happening is because when hermit crabs see the plastic bottles, they think they are shells and move into the bottles and get stuck. This is just one of the many reasons we need to stop littering.
Wow, Zachary, where did you find that fact?
I found this fact on Kittle Facts because Kittle Facts is a trusted website for kids. The reason why I'm telling you this is because animals are important to the earth, and if animals die, people die because of the circle of life. That is why it's bad to litter.
Scientists have guessed that there are 50 through 51 trillion pieces of plastic in the ocean. Scientists have estimated that if this continues, there will be more plastic than fish in the ocean by 2050. So if you litter, it gets into the ocean and harms sea life, and more of your favorite animals can possibly go extinct. You can help by making recycling bins and putting stuff like plastic bottles and leftover paper, so you can do this at home or school or any other places. Harley, did you find this fact on Kittle Facts too? Yes, I also found this on Kittle. We need to recycle plastic bottles because it takes over 450 years to decompose in a landfill. It's important because the bottles release chemicals into the environment. It can be dangerous to animals, to the environment and animals, and plants might go extinct and your favorite animals might die by eating the plastic bottles that the wind blows into the ocean. I found this fact on Kittle Facts. Wow, Kittle Facts must be a very trusted source. Please stop wasting and littering. That could stop killing sea life, and we hope you enjoyed this podcast. Thank you for listening. This is Casey, Harley,
Zach, and Chase
signing out. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome to the One Small Thing Club. This podcast will explain the results of recycling food and what benefits it has. Me, Emily, Dominic, and Vera will be guiding you through all of the reasons why you should recycle food and a lot of food facts. First, we're going to tell you about the facts. The average family of four spends about $1,500 per year on food that does not get eaten. Such a waste. A way to prevent this is to make a list of meals so your family does not waste as much money. We found this from the website United States Environmental Protection Agency. Want to know a way to decrease this number? A list with weekly meals in mind can save you money and time. If you only buy what you expect to use, you'll be more likely to eat it all. Then you'll be less likely to waste all that money. This should save all those poor families that have to work 2 or more jobs to help pay for their houses or lives. Now over to Vera.
Thanks, Emily. Another fact is that EPA estimates that in 2019, 66 million tons of wasted food was generated in the food retail, food services, and residential sectors. and most of this waste was about 60% sent to landfills. And that is such a waste of food. That sounds like about 10,000 dinners. This will most likely turn the world to the inside of a gigantic dump truck if we keep this going. This food needs to be recycled, donated, or eaten, not thrown out. We want to put this fact inside this podcast because we want everyone to stop wasting all their food. 60% of food is a lot, so we should definitely stop wasting and start donating. Time for Dominic so he can tell us about the wonderful world of donating.
That's correct. So now we need to state this to everyone. Some people in the world have very little food, so don't be eating every single little piece of food you have in your fridge. And if you want to help them like a normal good person, you should start donating to charities. You can give the starving kids and families a chance to eat fresh food for once. Now try stepping into their shoes and imagine what it is like not having fresh food, money, or the ability to not be worrying about your food and money all the time. Now that would not be a good life. So it is a good thing to help those children and adults by donating food to charities. Stop wasting and start donating. Now, we all hope that this podcast has encouraged you to stop wasting and start donating.
All of the food you waste is plus 1% to the world becoming the inside of a gigantic dump truck.
Now it is time to help people around the world. This was Emily,
Vera,
and Dominic,
telling you to not waste but to donate.